Kirkintilloch Review, print speaking to the blind, celebrating 40 years of audio newspaper production. Welcome to this week's edition of the Kirkintilloch Herald podcast, recorded at the Bishopbriggs Media Centre by our amazing volunteers. You can get in touch with us via Facebook, Twitter or Instagram using @QuenReview. That is @CuenDreview. You can also contact us directly by emailing information@quenreview.com. That is INFORMATION @CuenDreview.com, or by calling 0141 772 3976. That's 0141 772 3976.
This week's podcast, date Wednesday the 3rd of July 2024, is read to you by volunteers Alan, Hunter and Ian. Group's Hope for High Kirk. A group of volunteers is actively trying to save a town's landmark building for use by the community. Almost 200 years after it was built, Campsie High Kirk is listed as at risk after a fire left it badly damaged, along with years of neglect. But a group has recently been set up which aims to bring the building in Main Street, Lennoxtown back to life, and they are also hoping for some royal intervention to help their project. Friends of Campsie High Kirk is a newly established charity which aims to secure ownership of the building, preserve and restore it so that it can be available for community use. Following a public meeting last month, Group Chairperson Craig Brooks said the project is gaining momentum and progressing rapidly. He added, as well as considerable general public support, we've also received letters from notable organisations and individuals, including Rangers Football Club, Provost Gillian Rennick, Highland Spring, the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders, the Black Watch, and Eastern Bartonshire Council leader Gordon Lowe. Campsie High Kirk is a Grade 1 listed building of significant historical and architectural importance. It is currently listed as an at-risk property, necessitating urgent action to safeguard its future. The Friends are delighted that their project has been chosen as a pilot initiative by the King's and Lord Treasurer's Remembrancer, KLTR, for their Ownerless Property Transfer Scheme, OPTS, which launched in March. The new initiative from the KLTR is designed to encourage collaborative working between public bodies, local authorities and community groups to acquire ownerless property, known as bona vacantia, where it is in the public interest. Mr. Brooks said, our application for ownership of Campsie High Kirk was submitted to the KLTR on May the 30th and will be assessed by the OPTS panel. We anticipate a decision by August at the latest. The group hope that they get the go-ahead for the project as they believe the building has immense potential as a venue that can put Lennoxtown and Greater Campsie back on the map as a great place to go. Mr. Brooks added, we believe that the preservation and partial restoration of the building will not only attract visitors, but also bring economic benefits to Lennoxtown and the broader Campsie area, transforming it from a thoroughfare into a destination. Our commitment to community empowerment and action drives our ambition to deliver something exceptional for the EDC community and aims to improve outcomes for all residents in Lennoxtown and the Greater Campsie area, in line with the spirit of the Community Empowerment Scotland Act 2015. Councillor Gordon Lowe, leader of Eastern Bartonshire Council, said, Lennoxtown is one of the localities where Eastern Bartonshire is adopting a place-based approach, seeking to work collaboratively with residents, organisations and partners to address community need and reduce inequality. I would therefore welcome and encourage community-led projects that can contribute to that approach and make a positive difference to the local area. Campsie High Kirk was designed by architect David Hamilton and opened in 1828. However, in 1979 the decision was taken to merge the congregation with another local church, and the building was deemed surplus to requirements and sold in 1983. Not long after, it was badly damaged by fire and the spire was lost. An application to demolish it was rejected and it has lain empty ever since. It is A-listed, but due to its current condition, it has been in the Scottish Buildings at Risk Register since 1990. However, the Friends are now hoping they can give Campsie Highkirk an even brighter future.
How does our service impact your lives? When you listen to this audio, the team reading your Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs talking newspaper do so free of charge to you. However, this is not the case for our team, which needs to find the funding for all the costs of having a base and the current 2 full-time equivalent staff members that support our 25 volunteer readers and trustees to develop and promote our service. Your feedback is crucial in helping us secure grant funding and improve our service. By sharing your thoughts and experiences, you can shape the future of our service and make it even more beneficial for you and others. To help us improve our chances of winning grant funding, it would be greatly appreciated if you could phone 0141 724 1793 and leave your first name only, the local authority area where you live, the newspapers that you listen to from us, whether you listen via USB stick, online or on smart speakers such as Alexa or the app. Finally, and most importantly, how having access to talking newspapers increases your awareness of what is going on in your community, the support services and organizations available to you, and any other benefit you feel you have from listening to our service. 0141 724 1793 will let you leave your answers directly for Q and Review Recording Services, Managing Editor, Alistair. We may also share your comments with British Wireless for the Blind Fund and use some to promote the service. We truly appreciate you participating in this short evaluation.
This Week in History, as read by me, Ian McKenna. July 6, 1971. Jazz legend Louis Armstrong died of a heart attack. He once said, "Musicians don't retire, they stop when there's no more music in them." July 7, 1967. Using Sir Francis Drake's sword, the Queen knighted Francis Chichester, who had sailed solo around the world in Gypsy Moth IV. On this day last year, Billy Joel delighted 65,000 fans performing a phenomenal set at BST Hyde Park, London, aged 74. July the 8th, 1918. National savings stamps went on sale in Britain. On this day last year, a yellow heat warning was in place for parts of England. July 9, 1872. The first donut cutter was patented in America by John Blondell. A sea captain, he is said to have invented the hole so he could slip the donut over the handle of the ship's wheel and enjoy his snack while steering. On this day last year, Joe Biden arrived in London for the start of a tour that included meetings with Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and a discussion on climate change with King Charles at Windsor Castle. July 10, 1958. The first parking meters in Britain were installed in London's Mayfair. On this day last year, the Prince of Wales visited the Duchy of Cornwall's nursery near Lostwithiel, Cornwall, to open its new restaurant, the Orangery.
Voters preparing to go to the polls to elect MPs. Voters have less than 24 hours left to decide who is going to get their vote in tomorrow's, Thursday, general election. The new Mid-Dumbartonshire constituency looks like it could be one of the closest run votes in Scotland, but that wouldn't be unusual for this area, as the previous East Dumbartonshire constituency was won by Amy Callaghan for the SNP with a 149 vote majority, 0.3%. It was one of the upsets of the 2019 election as she unseated then Liberal Democrat leader Jo Swinson. However, depending on what poll you go with, this time around, Mid-Dumbartonshire looks like being a Labour or Liberal Democrat victory. But that could all change when the result is announced by Returning Officer Anne Davey around 3:30am on Friday. The full list of candidates standing is Amy Callaghan, SNP, Lorna Dougal, Scottish Labour, Ray James, Alba Party, Alex Matheson, Scottish Conservative, David McNabb, Reform UK, Susan Murray, Scottish Liberal Democrats, and Carolyn Scrimgeour, Scottish Green. People will be able to vote between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. at their designated polling station from the 73 across the region. 6 candidates are standing in the new Cumbernauld and Kirkintilloch County constituency in the hope of getting to Westminster. They are Satbear Gill, Scottish Conservative, Adam Harley, Scottish Liberal Democrats, Anne McCrossan, Scottish Greens, Stuart MacDonald, SNP, Katrina Murray, Scottish Labour, Billy Ross, Reform UK. Voters should remember they need to take photo ID to the polling station or they will not be able to complete their ballot paper. Concerns were raised at the end of last week over the late arrival of postal voting papers across Scotland as the traditional holiday period began. Malcolm Burr, convener of the Electoral Management Board for Scotland, said, "There have been many difficulties experienced with the delivery of postal votes at this election." Pointing out almost 25% of voters now chose this method, he called for a major review of capacity and system after the election. Read by Alan Todd.
New lease of life for house? A listed building in Bishopbriggs is the subject of a planning application which proposes refurbishment and an extension to create a large family home. The application, to be decided by East Dunbartonshire Council, concerned Hunters Hill House, the former home of 18th century political reformer and martyr Thomas Muir. The Category B listed building has previously been the subject of planning applications aimed at establishing a care home in the currently vacant property. These were approved in 2016. Surveys carried out during this process found that although the exterior of the property was a very good example of a Georgian home, it had been impacted by a now demolished extension in the 1960s or 1970s, and little now remains of the interior. Also, in the 1960s, it was modified to provide sports changing facilities, although these no longer exist. Documents submitted in support of the latest application stated that the applicant's intent is to restore the building for use once again as a family home, a process which will require significant restoration. Planned features include a games and TV room, swimming pool, gym and garage. The documents claim that the proposed design will have a minimal impact on views of the property, with the extension cut into the landscape to reduce the visual impact of adding a pool. The documentation submitted as part of this application can be viewed on East Dunbartonshire Council's website and searching for reference number TP/ED/24/0379, where visitors can leave comments.
Care home fire contract as recorded by Hunter MacDonald. East Dunbartonshire Council is seeking a contractor to update fire safety arrangements at a small care home in Kirkintilloch. The council has advertised a contract valued at £55,000 to carry out the needed work at John Street House, which is a care home for up to 11 adults who have learning disabilities and mental health difficulties. The project involves reconfiguring the layout of the care home to form 2 communal refuge areas and dividing the existing fire compartment into 2 separate compartments. John Street House is a single-storey care home built in a traditional manner, featuring 2 lounge areas, a dining room and 11 ensuite single bedrooms, as well as 3 small kitchens and 1 larger kitchen where staff prepare meals for residents. Interested contractors have until July the 11th to submit their bids to the council for consideration.
Need to look after all the volunteers. A call has come for more to be done to protect volunteers, as research shows 1 in 5 people in East Dunbartonshire regularly help others. It also shows that there is a growing enthusiasm for volunteering amongst UK adults. The research from the National Lottery Community Fund indicates that half of UK adults, a slight increase on last year, plan to volunteer in 2024, with 14% intending to volunteer for the first time, citing food banks, animal welfare and charity shops as the most popular initiatives to get involved with. The benefits of volunteering, such as providing young people with new life skills and reducing loneliness among the elderly, have become increasingly recognised, especially since the pandemic. While a growing number of volunteers is a positive development for charities, it also presents challenges in managing safety and risk. Kelly Barter from Ansvar, an expert provider of insurance for the charity, not-for-profit, care and faith sectors, said, "Volunteers are the backbone of charitable and community organisations and play a pivotal role in sustaining vital services across Dumbartonshire. However, ensuring their safety and protection is essential. When planning events, the focus is often on activities and fundraising, but the administrative aspects such as providing adequate supervision, organising appropriate training, completing comprehensive risk assessments, ensuring specialist insurance coverage is in place, and providing a safe environment for volunteers can sometimes get overlooked."
East Dumbartonshire has low crime. People living in East Dumbartonshire are less likely to be victims of crime than in most other parts of Scotland. New figures released by the Scottish Government details the crimes and offences recorded and cleared up by the police in each area of the country over the past year. The report highlighted a rise in the national rate of total recorded crime to 550 per 10,000 population for the period between 2023 and 24, up from 531 the previous year. However, in East Dumbartonshire the figure is 241 per 10,000 population. Only in Orkney and Shetland are the crime rates lower. Topping the table, the highest crime rate is Dundee, which had 847 crimes per 10,000 residents over the past year, followed by Glasgow City with 812 and City of Edinburgh with 679. Sparkling afternoon tea offer. A sparkling afternoon tea is on offer for those showing support for a carers charity. Carers Link East Dumbartonshire is offering anyone that joins its 100 club or takes out another number if already a member a chance to win a champagne afternoon tea for two at Glasgow's Grand Central Hotel. Jennifer Rowe, its Chief Executive Officer, said, "The aim of 100 Club is to raise vital funds and awareness of our crucial services for carers. By joining our 100 Club for as little as £5 a month over a year, you can help us raise vital funds for Carers Link as well as participate in a monthly prize draw. Enter here, https://carersLink.org.uk/100-club-2.
Time to say thank you. Support for the armed forces was shown last weekend at the council's headquarters. A special Armed Forces Day flag was raised over the East Dumbartonshire Council building in Kirkintilloch last week. The ceremony took place ahead of Saturday's Armed Forces Day, with the flag raised by Deputy Provost Colin McDermott and Vice Lord Lieutenant Jim Rogers, alongside the council's Veterans Champion, Councillor Stuart MacDonald, and local veteran Robert Campbell, who is a retired Royal Highland Fusilier. A special Union flag was also flying throughout the weekend in support of the commemorative event. Deputy Provost Colette McDermott said, "The Council HQ is one of many buildings across the UK proudly flying the flag in a public show of unity, gratitude and support for serving troops and their families, veterans and cadets. It is important that we mark this very special day, and it is my privilege to once again be a part of Armed Forces Day in East Dumbartonshire, now a well-established council tradition. The service and sacrifice of our military personnel must never be forgotten, and I am proud to be joining with others across the UK to celebrate and commemorate." Vice Lord Lieutenant Jim Rogers added, "We, as a nation, continue to be indebted to those who today risk their lives in many places around the world and to the veterans whose service we will never forget and always honour. I believe that the United Kingdom has the finest armed forces in the world, including our reservists, cadets and volunteers, representing the very best that this country stands for. This is a day when the rest of us can show our patriotic support for their outstanding contribution to this country. In 2017, the Council signed the Armed Forces Covenant with the Ministry of Defence, a promise that those who have served in the armed forces and their families are treated fairly. For more information on Armed Forces Day, visit www.armedforcesday.org.uk. That's www.armedforcesday.org.uk.
Plea to write off school debt. Local Green MSP Ross Greer has urged Eastern Bartonshire Council to write off school meal debt for local families following the launch of a new national fund secured by the Scottish Greens. Research completed by the Scottish Greens in 2019 and again in late 2021 showed over £1 million of school meal debt was owed by families to councils across Scotland, with £8,736.57 owed by families in Eastern Bartonshire. Since then, Green MSPs have campaigned for that debt to be written off, alongside anti-poverty campaigners like Aberlour Children's Charity. Late last year, the Scottish Greens secured a new government fund to wipe out all school meal debt. The Scottish Government launched the fund in May, and Ross has written to Eastern Bartonshire Council urging them to apply to write off all local school meal debt. Ross said, "I've heard from constituents how much distress and embarrassment is caused by councils chasing families for debts."
Community grants are up for grabs. Groups are being encouraged to apply for the next tranche of funding from Eastern Bartonshire Council's Community Grant Scheme. From dramatic arts for the young to disco lunches for the elderly, the funding is supporting a range of initiatives at the heart of local towns and villages, with the latest round accepting applications from July the 1st to noon on Friday, July the 26th. Organisations can apply for either a grant of up to £5,000 or up to £10,000. The maximum, over the course of a year, a group can ask for is £15,000. The online form, guidance and eligibility criteria can be found online. To apply, groups must have a constitution and a bank account, as well as not being profit-making, and aim to bring benefits to the residents of Eastern Bartonshire. Funding can be sought for start-up costs, special projects, equipment and salaries. Recent recipients included Halo Arts, providing sessions and opportunities for those aged between 5 and 25, and weekly WOW Factor, which offers disco lunches and more for people aged over 66. Anne Davey, Chief Executive of Eastern Bartonshire Council, said, "The latest round of the Community Grant Scheme is open between July the 1st and 26th, providing funding directly to local organisations carrying out great work which benefits people of all ages and abilities. We're here to help support groups making a positive difference in our communities, increasing inclusion, participation and well-being. Visit the website or get in touch to find out more. If any individual or group is unfamiliar with the application process and needs assistance, the Council's Community Planning team can be contacted by emailing communityplanning@easternbarton.gov.uk. That's by emailing EASTDUNBARTON.gov.uk or calling 0300 123 4510. Applications are assessed by the Grants Advisory Committee, which makes recommendations for awards to the Community Planning Partnership CPP Board. The board is expected to meet around the end of September, after which applicants will be informed if they have been successful. The Community Planning Partnership Board includes representatives of the Council, the Health and Social Care Partnership, Police Scotland, East Dunbartonshire Voluntary Action, the Leisure and Culture Trust, and other organisations providing public services locally.
House prices. House prices in this area are amongst the highest in Scotland. The recently published Registers of Scotland ROS annual report tracks the median price of residential properties across Scotland's 32 council areas in the last 12 months. It revealed that East Dunbartonshire is fourth in the league table of most expensive at £260,000. Most expensive in Scotland was East Lothian with a median of £283,227, as home values increased by 3% in the last year. In second place is East Renfrewshire, with the median residential property price at £280,000, a 1% increase. Edinburgh was third at £270,000 with an unchanged median home value since last year. Cheapest place in Scotland to buy a home was Inverclyde, which had the lowest median house price at £107,108.
Garden gets makeover. Tiny youngsters at a nursery now have a great new garden area thanks to the generosity of Freemasons. As part of last month's big help out, local masons of Lodge Barhill Twecker number 1444, currently celebrating their 75th anniversary, were looking for a local cause to support, both materially and financially. When they learned that Twecker Early Years Centre in the grounds of Village Primary School was trying to improve its outdoor area and garden, they stepped in with an offer to help. Currently, 37 2 to 5 year olds from the village and surrounding area are enrolled at the nursery. Thanks to lodge donations and the support of the brethren, the refurbishment of the garden and surrounding area has been completed in a matter of weeks. The outdoor play area has now been greatly improved with the addition of a fenced-off garden area with shrubs, flowers and other bedding plants and newly cultivated and composted borders. The children can also enjoy a specially constructed sand pit with canopy for weather protection, an external mud kitchen and assorted children's toys. The donations also included new wooden planters to enable the youngsters to grow vegetables from seed, which will help them to learn about what plants require to grow and where their food comes from. These outdoor pastimes are able to be carried out more safely with the provision of 30 Legionnaire-type hats, which also have the Twecker Early Years Centre badge to complete the look. The nursery staff and children are delighted to have a safe and educational garden area to enjoy and are most grateful for the time and effort of the local masons, greatly assisted by their friends from Lodge Campsie 195. Special thanks to James MacArthur for his imagination, organisation, labour and gardening skills, Andrew Nichol Jr. for supplying and delivering the heavy materials, Mark Boyle for the provision of the special hats, and Mr Hugh Dick of Mitchell Turf Services for the supply of the play sand. The Twecker brethren also presented a cheque to Tracy Dodds, Centre Deputy Head, to buy treats for the children during the summer months.
Greggs plan for retail park. Popular bakery chain Greggs is seeking permission from East Dunbartonshire Council to install air conditioning and extractor grills at its new shop in Bishopbriggs. The application concerns 2 air conditioning condenser units and extractor grills at the outlet in Strathkelvin Retail Park, located in part of a former Frankie and Benny's restaurant, which has been split into multiple units since its closure. The restaurant was one of many Frankie and Benny's locations to close in recent years due to a combination of factors, including the struggles of its parent company, increased competition, changing customer preferences and the widespread and devastating impact on the restaurant industry as a whole during the COVID-19 pandemic. Across the UK, more than 150 restaurants have closed since 2020. Detailed specifications of the equipment involved in the Greggs planning application can be viewed on East Dunbartonshire Council's website.
Treatment for tremors. Revolutionary for Parkinson's. A life-changing procedure that can prevent uncontrolled tremors in Parkinson's patients has been performed for the first time in Scotland. A team from the University of Dundee School of Medicine has successfully completed the country's first ultrasound thalamotomy, a non-invasive operation that can allow people living with the disease to control their movements. Ian Keir from Carnoustie is now tremor-free, having received the procedure earlier this month. The 63-year-old was diagnosed with Parkinson's in 2018 and said that the condition had slowly eroded his ability to perform everyday tasks. However, with his tremors having largely disappeared just moments after undergoing the operation, he is excited to have his independence back. "It feels like a miracle," said the retired firefighter. "My tremor has completely gone. It's as though I never had it. I'm now able to do exactly what I could before. I can pour a jug of water. My handwriting is back, and I'm now able to do things without thinking about them beforehand. My wife has been so strong for me these past few years, helping do things I was unable to do, but now I'm able to cut my own food, pour a glass of water, anything at all. I was obviously nervous beforehand, but the improvement was almost immediate. While I'm aware this isn't a cure for Parkinson's, it is a cure for some of my symptoms, so I'm grateful and just want to make the most of every day." Uncontrollable tremors are one of the symptoms most associated with Parkinson's disease, prompted by reduced levels of the chemical dopamine in the brain. Thalamotomy is a surgical procedure used to treat tremor by creating a lesion in a part of the brain known as the thalamus, which controls a person's movements. It was probably 2 years before my diagnosis that I found I had a twitch in my finger, said Ian. It was very innocuous to start with, but I had no control over it. When I was diagnosed, it was actually a relief. It was better to know exactly what it was, and I had a feeling from my research it was Parkinson's. Over the years, my tremors got significantly worse. It was frustrating trying to do everyday things. The tremors affected my right hand, which I used for writing, but I never really mastered writing with my left hand. The Dundee team have performed 60 thalamotomies for patients living with essential tremor, but this is the first time a patient with Parkinson's disease in Scotland has been treated. The team utilised the state-of-the-art eyesight tech X-Capillate system, which uses high-intensity focused ultrasound, allowing for incision-free treatment to be administered. As one of the world's leading centres for research into Parkinson's disease, the university has utilised its technology to support clinical research trials. It was purchased with funds generously donated to a dedicated fundraising campaign. This is the first treatment to take place in Scotland as part of an international, multi-centre clinical trial, as thalamotomy using ultrasound is not currently available via the NHS for patients with Parkinson's disease. Dr. Tom Gilbertson, consultant neurologist and honorary senior lecturer within Dundee School of Medicine, said, "This is a milestone moment for Scottish medicine. We have already witnessed the transformative impact that similar procedures have for patients living with essential tremor, so, to replicate that for those living with Parkinson's, who may never have dreamed of having such control of their movements again, is a huge privilege." Ian is proof that research like that taking place at university is leading to advances capable of transforming lives. Research campaign. The University of Dundee School of Medicine hopes to speed up progress towards the discovery of new treatments for people living with Parkinson's. It aims to make Dundee the global centre for Parkinson's research. Large parts of the puzzle, respected experts, state-of-the-art facilities, established links with charitable foundations and pharma are already in place. However, the university needs help to make it happen. It has the people and determination to make a difference, but needs to keep purchasing the latest technology and brightest minds to work on the solutions. You can support the Dundee Parkinson's campaign by making a donation online. You can also set up a monthly, quarterly or annual direct debit. For more details, visit www.dundee.ac.uk/Parkinson's. That's www.dundee.ac.uk/PARKINSONS. Powers protect the estate of murder victims. New powers have come into force allowing a court to prevent those convicted of murder or culpable homicide from acting as an executor on their victim's estate. The measures are part of the Trust and Succession Scotland Act 2024, which was passed unanimously by the Scottish Parliament in December 2023. Other parts of the Act that have now come into force include the power for a co-trustee to remove a professional trustee, such as an accountant or solicitor, if they are no longer a member of their regulated profession or entitled to practice. This provision was included in the legislation in response to concerns that arose following the collapse of the W&J McClure firm of solicitors. Siobhan Brown, Victims and Community Safety Minister, said, "Preventing killers from being executors is an important part of this legislation. It will stop added anguish for victims' loved ones, as happened to the family of Carol Taggart, who was murdered by her son, who was her executor. Carol's friends and family are to be commended for campaigning for this important change to the law, which will prevent it happening to another family. The law of trust and succession needed to be updated to keep pace with how society has changed, and the measures will help to ensure that our law is more relevant and can better meet the needs of modern Scotland. It will be for the courts to apply the law in individual cases. Courts will be able to take account of the convictions that predate the Act coming into force. The Trust and Succession Scotland Act 2024 of the Scottish Parliament was passed by MSPs on December the 20th, 2023 and received royal assent on January 30th this year. The Act has made further provision as regards trusts to make provision about the effects of divorce, dissolution or annulment on a special destination, and about the rights of succession to an intestate estate and for connected purposes. Remaining provisions of the Act will come into force in due course. The Scottish Government is working with the UK Government on the reserved issue of pension trusts and working on the implementation of the wider Act.
Drink and drug drivers are targeted by officers. A crackdown on drink and drug driving was launched by Police Scotland on Monday, July 1st. Latest figures show that motorists caught driving under the influence, DUI, has increased by more than 50% over the past decade. The annual recorded crime in Scotland report, which has just recently been published, showed 8,041 DUI offences in 2023-24. This was an increase of 3% over the previous year and up 54% since 2014-15. Separate figures from Transport Scotland reveal there are 210 casualties a year caused by drink driving, although this has shown a steady decrease since the turn of the century. The Scottish drink drive limit was lowered in December 2014 from 80 milligrams of alcohol in 100 millilitres of blood to 50 milligrams. A study of 1,000 people in Scotland by breathalyzer firm Alcosense found 53% of motorists now have reduced the amount of alcohol they drink, particularly when they know they will be driving later that day or the following morning. However, Managing Director Hunter Abbott said, "There's still a persistent minority who flout the law and drive above the limit." The latest Scottish Health Survey shows that alcohol consumption has increased among those who drink above government guidelines, an average of 32.9 units per week in 2022 compared to 30.9 units before the COVID-19 pandemic. Police Scotland's Summer Blitz runs for a fortnight from July 1st to July 14th. During the last crackdown over Christmas, officers conducted 3,219 breath tests and 481 drug wipes. Over 100 more offences were logged compared with the previous festive season, 831 motorists up from 722. However, AlcoSense analysis shows that, across the year, breath test failures after an accident in Scotland, 3.8%, are considerably lower than England and Wales, 6%. Hunter added, "When you go out drinking this summer, our advice would be to plan ahead for how you'll get home, whether it's walking, public transport, taxi, or designated alcohol-free driver. If you've been drinking the night before, we recommend a personal breathalyser to check you're clear in the morning."
Wednesday, 3rd of July 2024. Family announcements. Deaths. McCann, Mary, Ray, Nee Gallagher, peacefully at home on June 20th, 2024, surrounded by her family. Beloved wife of the late Charlie, a much beloved mum of Edward, Louise, Brenda, Joan and Evelyn. An adored sister, gran and great-gran. Fortified by rites of the Holy Catholic Church. R.I.P. Reception and vigil on Monday, July 15th, 2024 at St Flamin's RC Church, Kirkintilloch at 6:30 p.m. Funeral Mass on Tuesday, July 16 for 10 a.m, thereafter to Old Old Cemetery for 11:15 a.m. Reid, William, sadly, at Glasgow Royal Infirmary on Monday, June 24, 2024. William, beloved husband of Janice, much loved dad of Eleanor and Hazel, and a loving grandpa to Holly. Funeral service to take place on Thursday, July the 4th, 2024 at St Mary's Parish Church at 10:45 a.m. Thereafter to Daldowie Crematorium, arriving at 12 noon. Family flowers only, please. In memoriam. Gibson, Lynn. In lovely memory of her darling daughter Lynn, passed away July the 4th, 1972, aged 2.5 years. Our hearts still ache with sadness, our secret tears still flow, for what it meant to lose you, no one will ever know. Mum and Dad. Thompson, Billy, died July the 5th, 2021, aged 52. Not one to trouble or make a fuss. You asked for nothing from any of us. God called you, Billy, we had to part, leaving us lonely with a broken heart. Your loving mum and dad, sister Sandra, brothers James and David, and wee Buddy, XXXXX. A golden heart stopped beating, two smiling eyes at rest. God broke our hearts to prove to us he only takes the best. From Auntie Christine and Uncle Billy, cousins William, Kirstine, Ashley and Amy, XXXX. New hub to help victims of cyber or fraud crimes. A new national charity has been launched to support Scots who become victims of a cyber or fraud crime. The Cyber and Fraud Hub was formed by Cyber and Fraud Centre, Scotland, in response to a rapid increase in calls from concerned members of the public to its incident response helpline. A collaboration between Scottish cybersecurity organisation the Cyber and Fraud Centre, Scotland, Police Scotland and the Scottish Government. It was originally set up to support businesses through a cyber attack. Last year, calls to the Cyber and Fraud Centre Incident Response Helpline doubled, with 60% of calls coming from concerned members of the public seeking advice following a suspected cyber or fraud crime. Businesses will continue to be supported through the Cyber and Fraud Centre Scotland with advice, intelligence and training, while the newly launched Cyber and Fraud Hub will offer tailored support through reporting and legal guidance, victim assistance, and recovering funds, as well as improving the public's understanding of cyber and fraud crime. The Cyber and Fraud Hub will be the first charity in Scotland to offer this level of bespoke victim and advice support to individuals. It was spearheaded by a dedicated team who gave up their spare time to make the charity a reality. The team includes Angie Leese, Declan Doyle, John Callaghan, Jude McCorry, Alex Dowell, and Chairman Paul Atkinson. Jude McCorry, Cyber and Fraud Centre Scotland CEO, said, "I recently saw a quote saying, 'The fight against fraud is everyone's problem, but no one's priority,' and we have seen this play out over the last year. In launching the Cyber and Fraud Hub, we have now made it our priority, but we need others, including senior figures in financial services and government, to make it their priority too. The hub will meet a vital need for support for individuals who find themselves in the daunting situation of being a victim of cyber or fraud crime, the impact of which can be immense, mentally and financially. We've built strong relationships with our colleagues at Police Scotland and the banking sector to support our business community to be more resilient, and we wanted to extend this support to the growing number of individuals who find themselves personally compromised. Members of the public require a different type of support to get them through a cyber attack, where they are supported as victims of a crime, as well as going through formal criminal proceedings. The Hub team have the knowledge, skills and expertise to allow them to listen and provide reassurance, as well as the tools to get people back on their feet." Assistant Chief Constable Andy Freeburn said, "I am delighted to be appointed as a trustee of the Cyber and Fraud Hub and have seen at first hand the success of collaborative working to combat fraud and keep people safe in the digital world. The Hub will be an invaluable resource and complement the support available from Police Scotland. If you or someone you know has been a victim of cyber or fraud crime, call the Hub on 0800 1670 623 or visit www.cyberfraudcentre.com. That's www.cyberfraudcentre.com. The Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald Letters page, July the 3rd, 2024. Opinion: Let's talk. Please send your letters via email to kirkyscotland@jnscotland.co.uk. That's KIRKY HERALD @JNScotland.co.uk and write letters in the subject field. Please keep letters to a maximum of 300 words. Letters cannot be published without a name and postal address. Also include a daytime phone number if possible. We reserve the right to edit any letter. Green bin charges. Sir, I cannot believe that our learned councillors could come up with such a scheme as to charge for emptying our green bins. Do they not realise what they are doing will only encourage more fly tipping in the countryside? I, for one, will not pay for a permit. Our property is surrounded on 3 sides by council ground, and I have been helping keep this clear of any gifted waste for years, but from now on I will be leaving it in situ. Incidentally, I use all my grass cuttings and garden waste in my compost bin. I challenge Anne Davy to come and see me, as I am a retired farmer and have been at the end of fly tipping and know how frustrating it can be. Yours, etc., Billy Gilchrist, Bishopbriggs. No change. Sir, we're all hearing about the state of the NHS, politics/politicians, immigrants, cost of living, public transport, state of the roads, policing/criminality, but what's actually changed over the past 4 or 5 decades? It would seem not a lot. Using the contents of a soap operas and miniseries as a barometer, whether they are used to reflect influence, what's happening or shaping society, doesn't matter for the same story themes that are being used. Many people are still offended and always will be offended. Anybody watching or remembers watching the likes of Steptoe & Son, The Likely Lads, and In Sickness and in Health sticking to the same format of stories shows that what's been portrayed in today's soap operas happened a long time ago, clearly indicating that no matter what political party is in power, nothing has really changed in attitudes. The promises from all the political parties that are supposed to help the people seem to have left the populace with the same complaints, but within expected improvement in standards. People are expecting more and more, but there's still only a finite amount of resources to go around. Even with the Council Brigade's work at suppressing the past and basic themes still remain. Yours, etc., an ordinary man, name and address supplied. Net zero is dead, sir. So far, the various parties' campaigners have focused on politics' current fashions, present prosperity or lack thereof, on taxing and spending, on maintaining energy supplies and various perceived external threats, like immigration, war and the planet's changing climate. National government's first tax money spending priority must always be in defence, and also such vital topics as industrial and scientific research, education, health, infrastructure and environmental variables close to home, such as our polluted water supplies, maintenance of the countryside roads and highways. The tremendous emphasis of ongoing huge expenditures on unproven future climate hazards is being wasted by now relatively unprosperous countries like ours, whose greenhouse gases output is negligible at about 1% of the global total. Political parties and their candidates should be made at the hustings to justify present and future expenditures on offsetting notional climatic risks, since that is what they are. To most of the alleged climate producers, net zero is dead. It deserves to be buried. Yours, etc., Charles Wardrop, by email. A party in its true light. Sir, if your readers had any doubt about independence for Scotland, the rise of Farage, the Mussolini of England, should convince them. Commentators are taking seriously the possibility of Farage playing a significant role in the government of the UK, and we see Farage's party in its true light, a racist, bigoted, xenophobic gang of thugs. The rise of this sort of movement would mean that the UK would join Italy, France and Hungary as nasty right-wing states with populist governments. Europe has been through this process in the 1930s and we should have learned our lesson. Alas, the electorate in England appears not to have learned that lesson, and Farage's Tory rivals will have to move in his direction in order to keep their votes. As the UK, other European states and the USA slide towards totalitarianism, again, we, in Scotland, have the chance to survive as a beacon of democracy and decency if we seize the chance to govern ourselves. Independence offers us that chance. We can show our determination to do so if we vote for pro-independence parties in the forthcoming election. Yours, etc., David Curry, address supplied. Church records are now online. The moment the Church of Scotland defied King Charles I is among a vast number of historical documents now available to view in the Scotland's People website. As part of a wider release of almost 4,000 volumes of Church court records, National Records of Scotland has added papers from the Church's governing court, the General Assembly, for the first time. This includes the minutes of the meeting held in Glasgow in November 1638, when delegates representing Scotland rejected the monarch's rules for worship. Annares archivist Jessica Evershed said, "The 1638 meeting of the General Assembly is a turning point in Scottish history. It sees the ministers disobey the King to remove the bishops in the new Common Prayer Book he introduced. As part of the wider Covenanters movement, this led to 50 years of war and upheaval. This is just one item among the Church records available in Scotland's People. The latest release includes approximately 300,000 digitised images of mostly handwritten historical records dating from the 1500s to 1900. These records are a treasure trove for professional historians and amateurs working on their family tree. The records of the local church courts contain details of parish work, such as grants for the poor, mediating family disputes, payments for services, and issuing punishments for minor offences. Reverend Fiona Smith, Principal Clerk of the General Assembly of the Church of Scotland, said, "I am delighted that ANRS is making further Church of Scotland records available in digitised format, providing a unique window into the history of Scotland, as well as aspects of daily life unfolding over the course of hundreds of years. We hope it will allow many more people to access these meticulously written documents which tell the stories of local communities from across Scotland. Scotland's People offers access to a wide range of official records including births, deaths, marriages and census records from the 16th century to modern times. Church court records are among those available to search and view free of charge." Trans data from the National Census. Scotland's Census 2022 found that 19,990 people were trans or had a trans history, according to data published by National Records of Scotland. The figure equates to 0.44% of people aged 16 and over. Almost half, 46.1%, of trans people were aged 16 to 24, with around a quarter, 26.0%, aged 25 to 34. Dundee City Council area had the highest percentage of trans people relative to the population aged 16 and over, 0.91%, followed by City of Edinburgh and Glasgow City, both 0.77%, and Aberdeen City, 0.58%. These council areas have large student populations and relatively high numbers of young people. The census included a question on trans status or history for the first time in 2022. This was a voluntary question for people aged 16 and over. The census also found that there were 183,860 LGB plus people in Scotland, 4% of people aged 16 and over.
Good day to you. It's Philip here, reading the church news under the district news of the Kirkintilloch Herald. And this week begins a new month, July. And it seems a lot of the churches have wee holidays. So there's not much to report today, but I shall read each of them out for you. First we go to St James Church in Bishopbriggs. The minister there is Canon Paul Watson. And there is a communion service on Thursday, July the 4th at 11 a.m. and on Sunday, July the 7th at 9 a.m. in the chapel and at 10:30 a.m. in the church with hymns. Pre-service prayers from 10 a.m. to 10:15 in the chapel. This will be to commit the service to God and to pray for the needs of the community. Short service of prayer for healing after the main service in the chapel immediately after the 10:30 a.m. service. Everyone is welcome to come along to any of these services. Do stay on for tea, coffee and fellowship afterwards. There are also other virtual services and groups for up-to-date information. Refer to their social media site on Facebook, St James LS Bishopbriggs, or their website, stjamesbishopbriggs.org.uk. And now to Kenmure Parish Church. The start of the month means the return of the popular First Sunday Club, a special service for the young and the young at heart. As usual, it will be led by the Reverend Susan Anderson and starts at 11 a.m. All are welcome to attend either in person or online on our YouTube channel. Note, to preserve their privacy, the children's faces will not be shown on the YouTube stream. The service on YouTube can be watched live as it is streamed or later at a time that suits you. You can find our channel by simply searching for Kenmure Bishopbriggs on YouTube. There will be a period of fellowship following the service in the hall when teas, coffees and juice and biscuits, let's not forget the biscuits, will be served. The most up-to-date details of all other our groups that are currently running may be found on the WhatsApp section of our website, kenmure-church.co.uk. To find us on Facebook, just search for Kenmure Parish Church. And if you'd like to join our WhatsApp group or receive the Bible studies from ABC, then email us at kenmurechurch@icloud.com. Now, since St Mary's Church in Kirkintilloch, not much to report here. Set to service on Sunday, July the 7th, will be conducted 11 a.m. As usual, and be taken by the Reverend Dr. Ruth Morrison. There will be age-appropriate activities for our children and young people in the church halls. On Wednesday, July the 3rd, the church will be open for visitors between 10:30 and 3 p.m. Tea and coffee will be available all day. Then, out of town, we go to Milton Campsie Parish Church. Julie and the leaders and children, 23 of them, are at SU camp at Gowan Bank. They are in our prayers. Just 4 weeks till Go Mad begins on Sunday, July the 28th, and we will run Polarity Holiday Club for children of all ages from July the 29th to August the 8th. 7-Up in the evenings will cater for young people, and Boaz, which stands for a bit of a sing, will practice each weekday evening from 7 p.m. till 8 p.m, preparing for the charity concert on August the 8th. Don't forget the community quiz on Tuesday, July the 30th from 7 p.m. till 8 p.m. Please enter a team. Also, each weekday evening at 8:15 there will be a parable prayers, a 20-minute intergenerational time of worship, followed by tea. On the middle Sunday, August the 4th, all are invited to a Kinda Messy church, beginning at 3 p.m. and finishing with a buffet tea, with a chance to watch the Wonka film. A community art project will run throughout the fortnight, and sales of Kilimanjaro rice, that's £2 £2 a bag, will enable a child in Malawi to go to school. Our Summer Sunday series is on the early church. Next Sunday's service will focus on SU camp. Send us a camping photograph of yourself, and these are displayed in the church during the service, and always brings some hilarity and laughter as they view each other's photographs. Anyway, let's move back to Bishopbriggs, to Cadder Parish Church beside the canal. For full details, please see their website, cadderchurch.org. We look forward to welcoming you this Sunday morning to our morning service. The service will be led by the Reverend John McGregor. Music is led by Javier Jose, and creche kids meet at Cadder and the church at the start of the service, and then go to the North Hall. All are welcome. Our church services are videoed and recorded and are available from the church website. Tea and coffee served after each service. Food bank. If you wish to donate to the local food bank, you can bring your donation of food to the church or the coffee shop. Early fellowship meets in person in the South Hall Chapel at 9:30 a.m. on Tuesday and Thursday, and also on Zoom. Now to Kirkintilloch and the Church of God there at the Regent Hall in Regent Street. Our coffee corner is now closed for the summer break and will recommence on Wednesday, August the 21st. On Tuesday, there will be a Zoom service at 7:30 p.m. A warm welcome to everyone who is able to join us on Zoom. Access to the stream can be obtained by emailing hello@regenthall.org. For up-to-date and further information on our services, visit our website, all the W's, regenthall.org. Jesus said, "What is a man profited if he shall gain the whole world and lose his soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul?" And that's a verse 26 from Matthew 16. Now to Bishopbriggs, to Springfield Cambridge Church. Morning worship on Sunday, July the 7th will be conducted by the Reverend Gordon Mackenzie in the sanctuary at 11 a.m. An offering will be taken during the service. Please place your offering in the offering place as they are passed around the congregation. Tea and coffee will be served in the Cavern Hall after morning worship. Come and enjoy the fellowship. The Sunday school meets in room 2, where creche facilities are also available. Morning worship is also being live streamed on the Springfield Cambridge Church YouTube channel. A link to this can be found on the Springfield Cambridge Church website. all the W's, springfieldcambridge.org.uk, and on Facebook page, where up-to-date information about events and church organisations can also be found. There will be a vestry hour on Wednesday, July the 3rd, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. for anyone who would like to speak with the minister. There will be a short weekly service of worship in the Springfield Chapel on Wednesday, July the 3rd, from 11:10 to 11:30 a.m, followed by tea and coffee in the Hall of Fellowship. The Guild is inviting the congregation to join them in supporting the Eastern Battenshire Food Bank warehouse by bringing donations and leaving them in the cupboard in the cloakroom. A list is attached to the cupboard door identifying specific items especially requested. Now to Torrance. Torrance Parish Church in the person at 10:30 a.m, conducted by Stuart Irvin. During the service, the youngsters up to P5 head to the church hall for the summer holiday Sunday club to enjoy activities and crafts. To join the service online, click www.torranceparishchurch.online.church. The cafe now closed until Wednesday, August the 14th at 9 a.m. The Champions Challenge Summer Holiday Club will run from August the 5th to the 9th, 10 a.m. to 12 noon. To find out details, check the website www.tpc.org.uk. And then St Columba's Men's Club of Kirkintilloch meet in the halls of St Columba's Church in Old Isle Road, and it's not necessary to be a church member to join. The club, which has been in existence for many years, provides a chance for men to spend a Monday evening in very relaxed company and to participate in activities such as pool, snooker, carpet bowls, darts, table tennis and dominoes, or simply sit and chat. The membership comes not only from Kirkintilloch but also from Lindsay, Cumbernauld, Milton Campsie and Bearsden. All men are welcome. And that's the church news for this week. Hopefully you're having a good week, and if you're like me, recovering from COVID, I hope you get well soon. Take care, God bless, and if you have any comments, please contact us at Q and Review. We'd love to hear from you, and if there's anything we can do to enhance the church news, then do please let us know. God bless you. My name again is Philip.
Wednesday the 3rd of July. District News General. Super rich must pay their fair share. Holyrood View by Ross Greer MSP. The last few years have been extraordinarily tough for families. People have struggled with soaring inflation, energy bills and food prices, all while wages have stagnated. But for the super wealthy, things have never been better. They've gotten richer and richer while the rest of society struggled. This has been the story throughout the last 14 years as the Tories slashed budgets for public services and let their super rich mates profit from privatisation, dodgy contracts and chronic tax avoidance. Those budget cuts have hit Scotland hard, forcing the Scottish Government and local councils into their worst financial positions since the start of devolution. To protect our essential public services, the Scottish Greens have secured progressive changes to the limited range of devolved tax powers. The changes we delivered are raising an extra £1.5 billion a year, but the powers required to reverse 14 years of public sector cuts, to properly fund the NHS and to deliver the investment needed to tackle the climate crisis ultimately still lie at Westminster. A fair income tax system is important, and if Scotland's progressive tax changes were replicated across all the UK, it would raise around £11 billion extra revenue. But focusing on income alone misses the vast majority of the money being accumulated by the super rich. That's why the Scottish Greens are calling for a groundbreaking new annual wealth tax on the wealthiest 1% of households in the UK, with assets worth more than £3.4 million. This new tax would start at a marginal rate of 1%, rising to 5% for those with £5.7 million plus, the richest 0.5%, and 10% for those with £18.2 million, the richest 0.15%. Analysis from the University of Greenwich shows that this tax would raise between £70 billion and £130 billion per year. By asking those in the highest incomes to pay a little bit more in Scotland, the Scottish Greens have already delivered vital funds to support our NHS, schools and other services. But, with those services under so much pressure, The super rich must start paying their fair share. The Scottish Greens are being honest about the scale of the challenge facing Scotland's public finances and what it will take to build a fairer, greener country. We know that investment is required and we know who should be paying for it. Horticultural Society. Our annual general meeting held in May was well attended and members enjoyed a social evening with refreshments after new office bearers had been appointed. Also in May, some members met at the Kibble Palace to visit the annual Glasgow Botanic Gardens Orchid Fair. Displays by the Scottish and other visiting orchid societies were most impressive, with a wide variety of orchids and carnivorous plants, some of which were for sale. This year, our summer outing will be on Thursday, July the 18th, when we look forward to visiting Culzean Castle and Country Park at Maybole on the Ayrshire coast. Anyone wishing to find out more about the society can call Paul Malcolm on 0141 578 1520 or visit our website www.kirkintillochhorty.org.uk. That's www.kirkintillochhorty.org.uk. Kirkintilloch Canal Festival. The annual celebration of all things nautical and nice will take place on the weekend of August 31st to December the 1st. Scotland, Summer Fashion and Beauty Pop-Up. If you are looking for a fun day out in Glasgow this summer, which will also raise money for a good cause, why not go along to Adelaide's on Saturday, August the 10th? There will be music, local fashion, food, crafts and creative brands, drink and beauty stalls, as well as a photo area and prize raffle with some brilliant prizes up for grabs. This Summer Fashion and Beauty pop-up event has been organised by NSPCC Friends of Glasgow fundraising group and takes place between 10 AM and 3 PM at 209 Bath Street, G2 4HZ. Funds raised will be used to support vital services provided by the NSPCC, including Childline, our free counselling service for children, and our educational programme Speak Out, Stay Safe, which helps primary school children understand abuse in an age-appropriate way. Lanky Lutcher needs a home. Lionel Longlegs eagerly awaits his chance to find a place to call home. He thrives in the presence of caring owners, making him an ideal match for someone who can provide constant companionship for this lanky lad. Lionel can be uncomfortable around other dogs and should be kept on a lead while on walks and away from caring encounters, making tranquil walking across the perfect areas the perfect setting for him to thrive. He is house trained, making him an all-round charming companion for any fortunate family, exuding cuteness and a gentle vibe while boasting the most endearing ears in the world. If you think you could give Lionel a home, please contact West Calder Dogs Trust on 01506 873 459. Family fun for all weathers. At the National Museum of Rural Life in East Kilbride this summer, there are plenty of family fun to be had come rain or shine, from the farm's latest arrivals to the ever-popular historic farmhouse and museum. Free nature track packs will return with exciting ideas and activities to help the whole family enjoy a day exploring the Scottish countryside. Families can meet the museum's latest arrivals, two adorable Highland calves affectionately known as Maisie and Ishbel. They can be visited at the museum's historic working farm alongside Tamworth pigs, Russell the cockerel, and this year's new lambs. Visitors can also see Anna and Gina, two magnificent Clydesdale horses, and can enjoy watching the milking of the Ayrshire dairy herd at 3:15 PM each afternoon. The modern museum is just a short walk or tractor ride from the farm. Families can explore galleries displaying objects that tell the fascinating story of Scotland's rural past, including Scotland's largest collection of tractors, combine harvesters and other farm machinery. The popular series of tractor tots, Playful sensory sing-along sessions for under 5s and their adults continues throughout July. Later this year, families can also look forward to the return of Moo Fest, celebrating all things cattle with a weekend of hands-on activities, talks and family fun on September the 14th and 15th. The National Museum of Rural Life is open 7 days a week from 10 AM until 5 PM. Tickets can be booked online at mms.ac.uk/rural-life. That's nms.ac.uk/rural-life. Live Your Life Workshop. On Wednesday, July the 10th, Lymphoma Action will be holding a virtual Live Your Life workshop for anyone in Scotland who has been affected by lymphoma, a type of blood cancer. Lymphoma Action's Live Your Life workshops have been developed to support people who have come to the end of their treatment for lymphoma or who are being monitored by their healthcare team as their lymphoma doesn't need treatment straight away, also known as active monitoring or watch and wait. These unique and interactive workshops are led by someone with a personal experience of lymphoma and aim to provide support in managing the emotional aspects of the condition, as well as treatment, side effects. They also provide useful information around staying active, nutrition, and practical tips to support the general well-being of those living with and beyond lymphoma, and give people the chance to talk to others and share their experiences. Attendees are welcome to bring a friend or family member to the workshop too. The event is free to attend, but booking is essential. To find out more or to book a place, go to www.lymphoma-action.org.uk/LYL Scotland. That's all the W's, LYMPHOMA-ACTION.org.uk/LYL-SCOTLAND. 3rd of July 2024. Planning notices. East Dunbartonshire Council public notices. The East Dunbartonshire Council, Boghead Road, Lenzie, temporary closure, Order 2024. On the 2nd of July 2024, the East Dunbartonshire Council made the above named order under Section 14(1) of the Road Traffic Regulation Act 1984, as amended, which makes it unlawful for any person to drive or cause or permit to be driven any motor vehicle, with the exception of emergency service vehicles, vehicles engaged in works, and those vehicles requiring access to properties adjacent to the closed section of road when it is safe and practical to do so, on Boghead Road, Lenzie, between its junctions with Glenwood Road and Pinewood Avenue, by reason of works being executed on or near this road. This order will operate from 8 AM on Sunday 14th of July until 6 PM on Sunday the 21st of July 2024. Alternative route. The alternative routes will be by way of Boghead Road, Gallaghill Road, the B757 Lenzie Road, Townhead, Parliament Road, the A806 New Layersland Road, the A803 Glasgow Road in Kirkintilloch, the A803 Kirkintilloch Road, Cole Road, the B819 Crosshill Road in Bishopbriggs and Lenzie, the B757 Auchinloch Road, the B819 Lindsay Road, the A806 Initiative Road, Woodley Road, Garngabor Avenue, and the B757 Kirkintilloch Road in Lenzie, and these routes will be signposted. By Karen Donnelly, Chief Solicitor and Monitoring Officer, Legal and Regulatory Services, East Dunbartonshire Council Headquarters, 12 Strathkelvin Place, Kirkintilloch, G66 1TJ. Sport. New sponsorship. The developer of the new Bishopbriggs crematorium has given its backing to Eastern Bartonshire Football Club, EDFC, 2017s. Bishopbriggs will be in the Westerly Group's 4th Scottish side and, while the crematorium won't be open until this winter, it is keen to start building positive relationships with the communities surrounding the new site. EDFC was formed in 2002 and caters for youngsters aged from 4 to under 17 level. Branding for Bishopbriggs Crematorium will appear on the backs of the 2017 shirts, who have 4 teams of 6 boys. Gordon Patterson, from the club, said, "The support of businesses with local links is essential. The cost of new kit and equipment, along with the ever-rising costs of pitch hire, is an enormous pressure on clubs and families. We try to keep costs as low as possible and ensure that sponsorship, fundraising and donations play their part to help keep football open to all, regardless of their financial circumstances. EDFC is a fantastic asset to the community, and any donations or funds raised are reinvested, not only to keep costs to parents as low as possible, but to also enable us to offer youngsters opportunities to enjoy a great experience and hopefully develop many skills that will help them in later life. We are very grateful to Westerly Group for their support. The crematorium is being built midway between Bishopbriggs and Kirkintilloch and will provide a peaceful and beautiful setting for families to mourn, commemorate and celebrate their loved ones. It will be one of the most environmentally friendly in the UK, featuring the latest advanced filtration and abatement technology. Donnie Connor, Divisional Operations Manager for Westerly Group in Scotland, said, "Once our new crematorium is open, we will look to support many other charities and organisations like EDFC, which makes such a positive difference. We look forward to serving people from in and around the Greater Glasgow area and bringing the exceptional level of care and standards Westerly Group is known for. To find out more, go to www.bishopbriggscrematorium.co.uk. That's www.bishopbriggscrematorium.co.uk. Speedway. Tigers boss Cammy praises a powerhouse display. Glasgow Tigers boss Cammy Brown praised his side for a powerhouse performance against Plymouth Gladiators on Friday. Tigers made it 3 wins in succession with a comfortable 58-32 victory over the Devon side at Ashfield. Brown was delighted as his side dominated the meeting after a tense start to move further up the championship table. He said, "We needed another big show from the boys and they delivered. It was our first powerhouse show of the season. After the 2 wins over Berwick last weekend, I told the boys I still wanted more from them. But I'm confident this side has got the ability to push on now like I asked." Steve Worrell produced his first paid maximum for the Tigers alongside another unbeaten display from Chris Harris. James Pearson also delivered his best ever performance with paid 11, as did Liam Frount with paid 9, while Jack Smith impressed again with 7. Brown added, "Some of the lads are getting more belief and they showed it against a very dangerous Plymouth side. I knew they would be a tough nut and they proved that in the early stages, but I was especially delighted with the attitude and aggression when we needed it most. We now have a bit of a break until July the 19th here at Ashfield. It's frustrating because I feel we need some momentum. As a poor start to the season, Tigers are now in a better place as they fight to retain their championship crown." Brown said, "We need the boys to be more consistent. If they can achieve that, we will get stronger results. We've still got a lot to improve on if we're going to reach the playoffs and defend the league title. Perhaps the most amazing element about this club is the entertainment every week. Yes, okay, it's a bit more nail-biting than we'd like at times, but this is Speedway at its very best. We have a track that delivers as good as anywhere in the world, and that's a great compliment to our hard-working staff who sweat blood on that circuit. Fans who have been coming to Ashfield for years are telling me this is the best the racing has ever been." Junior football. Host of new faces arrive at Petershill. Petershill has made 9 new signings this summer as the club plots a return to the West of Scotland Premier Division. Despite leading the First Division at times last season, Petershill would ultimately have to settle for a 6th place finish. Among the new arrivals are left back Ross Smith from Blantyre, Victoria, and forward Robbie Young from Cumnock. Peterhill boss Steve McNeil. Ross is a player who I have watched several times. Apart from being a solid defender, he has the skills and ability to play higher up and be involved in our attacking play too. Robbie is hard working, technically very good, and knows how to put the ball in the net. We are looking forward to working with him. Defender Connor Bell has joined on a permanent basis after making 14 appearances while on loan from Kirkintilloch Rob Roy last season. Jamie Adam returns after a brief spell in Australia, where the attacker played for Mandurag City, and goalkeeper Bailey Maguire joins from St Anthony's, having made 57 appearances over the last 2 seasons. Boosting the midfield are Andy McLaughlin from Cumnock, Chris Duff from Pollock, Mark Smith from Clydebank, Dev and Daniel Moran from Glasgow Harp. Feeling much like a new signing is midfielder Paul Fee, who returned to training last week after almost a year on the sidelines. Petershill will get their pre-season fixtures underway on Saturday with a trip to Bimberg and then travel to Kilsyth Athletic next Wednesday, July the 10th.
That concludes this week's edition of the Kirkintilloch Herald podcast. Please remember to subscribe to our channels at Tune Review and to tell your friends about our service.